This is a presentation of 18 WJTS Jasper Wildcat Football. This broadcast is brought to you by
Westside Dairy Queen, Big O Tires, Master Brand Cabinets, DuBois County Tire and Supply, Meringer's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, DuBois County Garage Doors, Ubilar & Sons, McDonald's, Carpet Warehouse.
Now let's go down to the field.
Welcome to Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Tonight, the Jasper Wildcats playing a game against another SIAC foe, the Bosse Bulldogs. The Wildcats coming into this game 3-0, and they will take on a Bulldog team looking for their first win at 0-2. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Schneider along with Bob Welp and Jeremy Markos on the video. And Bob, kind of take a look at this football game. Obviously, the Wildcats with great success last week with a big win over the Wrights Panthers 35-14 to get to that 3-0 record where they stand at the top of the SIAC Conference along with Central and Evansville North. And it was just a football game that the Wildcats kind of took control. I'm not going to say early on, but at least they were moving the ball with the football, obviously running the football. No passing yards, 0 for 1 passing, but they had 58 plays with 395 yards rushing, and they were led by Lance Dawkins, 176 yards and 1 touchdown. Blake Mann had 19 carries for 147 yards and 3 first-half touchdowns. And, you know, it's just one of those games where the Wildcats pretty well did what they wanted to do offensively. Defensively, gave up, obviously, 172 yards passing in the first half where Bricky was kind of moving the ball around and throwing it all over the field in that first half. But in the second half, I thought the defense did a great job of kind of getting settled in and making some big plays to pretty well take control of that football game.
Well, Coach Lewis alluded to it earlier. He believes that the condition that these Wildcats are in wore them down late in the game. Now, I'm kind of with you. I never felt that the game was in doubt. I mean, the way Jasper was going, it could have came down in that first half with the shootout of who had the ball last. But Jasper's defense, it was all about the adjustments at halftime. Coach Shelton got up there, and the defensive backs that were given 7-yard cushions were now giving 4-yard cushions. And I'm sure he went up and said, "Gentlemen, trust your athletic ability." And that's what they did. And that was the big turning point. Offense, really, it never really changed.
Right.
The biggest thing that I got out of that whole game, besides the W, which is the most important, was the trust that the coaching staff had with Grant Young. 4th and 1 on R28.
Right.
And he gets 3 yards, gets the first down. I mean, that's one of those to where people start to question if it doesn't work. You know, if it works, you're a genius. If not, well, you're the other one. But
Right.
Absolute great trust, and they have it in each of their players out there. So Jasper's a complete team right now.
Well, and I think one thing with that, too, is also the confidence that you have in your offensive line. So, you know, that line is pretty well, no matter who you put back there. I mean, obviously, Mann has had some success, but Dawkins has been great, you know, especially with his plays between the tackles and all that. But that offensive line of Ashton Sheeter, Tyler Kelly, Carson Chanley, and then on the left side with Quade Pope and Gus Heichelbeck, I mean, it seems like if Day's running the football, he's getting open space. Berger's seeing some openings. And then obviously with Grant Young, when he had his series that he ran the football there for the Wildcats, I just think that offensive line is just really communicating well, and they're doing a great job of really dominating the line of scrimmage in their first 3 games.
You're absolutely right. When people talk about Jasper football, the 2 names that come to the forefront, of course, are Lance Dawkins and Blake Mann, and rightfully so. I mean, great guys. But one thing I'm going to watch tonight is the offensive line that you just mentioned. I really want to concentrate on seeing how far runners actually get down the field before contact. You know, I thought they did a pretty good job in the Wrights game, but the offensive line is getting into the numbers, driving the guys back, and when they slip off, they go pick somebody else up.
Right.
And so they have some of that old school mentality, and I think that this offense doesn't do anything if that offensive line, if they take a hit across there. I mean, those guys are solid right now, led by Pope and Chanley, the seniors.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing, too, when you talk about the defense, again, it was a 21-14 game at halftime, Jasper ahead, but Wrights on their first possession where they were basically looked like it was going to be a touchdown pass that he was lofting out there into the end zone, but it was an outstanding play, and I think at the time we didn't realize who made that play, but it was Ian Gieser, number 16, who knocked the ball away at the last second, and it got bounced around before Mann was able to pick that off. So that was a key play because that ties the football game at that point. Wildcats still had that lead 21-14 in the fourth quarter, and Wrights actually was in their territory, deep into their territory, and when Michael Beekler made that sack and they lost 20 yards on that third down and forced them to punt, and then the Wildcats score in the next possession. At that point, now you're 28-14. You got control of the football game with about 4 minutes to go.
There were so many, I talk about the Grant Young, but there were so many big keys in that game. And the one that you just mentioned by Beekler, when he came in from his defensive end spot, he played it perfectly. He came in, he was under control. He did not let the quarterback roll left or right. And by the time the quarterback got his feet, he had the speed to get to him. So you're right. There's a lot of players on this defense that are making individual plays, but at the end of the night, it's 11 guys playing as one.
Right. Now we're taking on a Bosse team that has given up over 100 points in their first 2 games, 103 points. But, again, this is a program that is just really trying to find their way, and they've got a new coach, Markos, who actually he played football high school-wise at Ben Davis, which is a great program everybody knows about in the state of Indiana. Played some college ball at Kentucky Wesleyan, even had a stint with the New York Jets in the NFL. So he's a coach that's trying to instill some, pride and discipline, and just trying to get, more of these Bosse, the student body out for football. And so that's the challenge that he's facing as he's in his first year. But there's Grant Maringer with a great run straight up the middle, pretty well untouched before he gets into Bosse territory. So Maringer with an outstanding run, and the Wildcats will have great field position to start their first drive at the 42-yard line in Bulldog territory.
Well, we talked about how the offensive line is getting into their guys and staying on their bodies. On that return right there, our return team got their guys, pushed them into the middle, but stayed with them. Maringer read it great, and away he went. Good return, great field position.
So around 50 yards, we'll say, as far as the return there. So 1st and 10 from the 43. Mann is the quarterback for the Wildcats, of course. But we're going to have a change in the backfield for the Wildcats tonight. And it is definitely a Dawkins back there, but it's number 14, Luke Dawkins, getting the start, the junior, the brother of Lance Dawkins, who is actually dinged up, and he is not in uniform tonight. He's down there in basically his jersey and shorts, but cheering his brother on as he gets his first carry of the night.
Well, hopefully he'll have something to brag about to his brother by the end of the evening.
All right, so Mann, there he sees an opening, and again, just where he left off last week, an outstanding football game overall he played. And he gets a big gainer there for a first down, gain of 10 on that play. So 1st and 10, or actually 12, and they'll spot it at the 29-yard line.
Well, we're going to need some of those big plays tonight, because when you look at Luke Dawkins coming in for his brother, Lance comes in at 213 and Luke comes in at 165. So those short yards are, maybe a little tougher.
All right, so 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the 29, and Mann will keep it again. Now he sees an opening to the outside. Can he get to the end zone? And it looks like he will get inside the pylon, and he'll take it 29 yards for the touchdown. So 2 touches for Mann, 12 yards and a first down, and the next one 29 yards and puts 6 points on the board.
Well, paying attention to those 2 plays by Mann on the far side, when he went through, he got down 4 yards before anybody laid a finger on him. That particular play there, nobody touched him. So the offensive line pinned him down. Outstanding.
Yeah, there were actually a couple players on the offensive line that were questionable tonight, but it looks like they're starting. That's Carson Chanley, number 79, and Quade Pope, 69. And the extra point by Sermersheim goes straight through. So just like that, we are not even barely a minute into it, a minute and 18 seconds, and the Wildcats are on the board already, 7-0 here on 18 WJTS. So we're back once again here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Game played on Joe Roletter Field, and the Wildcats with a quick 7-0 lead. The kickoff return by Grant Maringer set up the Wildcats at the 43-yard line of Bosse, so his return of around 50 yards or more. And then Dawkins with the 2-yard run, and then right after that it was Mann. He runs 12 yards for a first down and 29 yards for the touchdown run. And Sermersheim with a line drive kick fielded right there at the 10-yard line. And now Bosse showing some quickness, getting to the outside there, and trying to see the number if it was 5 or 6 who returned that football, but looks like it was number 6 for the Bulldogs, and that is Darian Harden, 5'5". and just a freshman, 5'5", 140 pounds, and he's actually going to get the start in the backfield there for the Bulldogs.
Well, I'm hoping that Potts and Kibbe and Kelly, who's in for Dawkins on the line, and Beagler are going to be able to hold their own. It's a great start to this game. Let's just keep it going when we're on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, so the freshman gets the first carry of the ball game, and he will rush it about 3 yards. We'll give him credit there. So again, Darian Harden, just a freshman, but now their quarterback actually started as a sophomore last year. That's Braylon Bame, and he's a player that's committed to this Bosse football team and this Bosse program, because in the preseason article where they were talking along with Ganaway, where he was talking about he spent a lot of time this summer watching a lot of film and working with Ganaway as far as leadership of this football team, but he actually goes down with a quick sack there. But, last year threw for 775 yards and 4 touchdowns. However, 12 interceptions, and obviously with the football team last year was 2-8, and you're going to have your struggles. But again, he's a player that's committed to helping build this Bosse program.
And he can throw the ball downfield. Now, he was very, very young last year. He's got a little bit more of experience. Maybe things really start to pick up for him. But you and I were seeing him throw the ball 40 yards right on money, right in warm-ups.
All right, so Bame back in the throw, and he actually, again, more pressure by the Wildcats. So the Cats just where they left off in the second half of last week doing the job, and pretty well going to be calling a lot of the same numbers as far as Kibbe and Potts and Beagler. I'm sure they'll be all over the quarterback and in the backfield most of the night tonight.
Well, Potts and Kibbe just absolutely crushed the offensive line on that side and pushed him right back up into it. The defensive ends are staying wide enough to where he can't roll out, so if he moves in the pocket, he's got to step up, and our interior pressure is right on the point.
So actually, I think we may have some movement on the right side the way the official's pointing there, unless they have too many players on the field or something too. Yeah, I think that may be the case. So that's going to be 5 yards. Actually running off the field there was number 28, Kimonte Madison.
I think that's, isn't the arm across the chest there? Isn't that illegal substitution?
So I don't know if that's what they signaled, but like I said, the extra player ran off the field there, so they're actually going to punt. And Maringer gets his hand on it, so Maringer doing the job with the special teams tonight. And just like that, the Wildcats will have fantastic field position for the second drive here, this time starting at the 37.
When you talk about Jasper and you talk about the complete team that they are playing like to this point, especially teams are extremely important. Now, usually you don't see them on the field as much as the offensive defense, of course, but when they're on there, you got to stop them from making a big play. And so far, they are just this year have just been outstanding.
So 1st and 10, Day comes in motion. They're going to run the option to the left side, but man, again, just left wide open on that left side, and he's going to get across the sideline. And will he take it in for a second score? Yes, he does. So Blake Mann, again, that triple option, it's give it to the fullback, quarterback keeps it, or he pitches out to the slot back behind him. But again, Mann's just seeing wide open daylight there and takes that one 37 yards for another score.
That's just too easy. I mean, the one thing Bosse will bring, even though they have a lot of inexperience right now and they're trying to buy into a new system, the one thing Bosse will always bring is speed. And Mann's just running away from him.
So Sermersheim out there to kick another extra point. He was perfect on 5 again last week, and so far 2 for 2 tonight. So 14-0, 9:08 to go here in the first quarter. Jasper dominating Bosse early here on 18 WJTS. So barely 2 minutes into this football game, 3 minutes really, and the Wildcats with a 14-0 lead. Another kickoff, and the freshman will bring it out. He's got some speed to the outside, but the Cats close quickly and gets just beyond the 20. Was spotted at about the 23-yard line. So, that's the thing with Darian Harden. He's showing some quickness there, and if they can kind of get him involved a little bit more with the offense, we'll see if they can on this second series of downs. But looks like a really good young athlete for this Bosse team.
You had brought up that, asked me about when we played Bosse, and Jasper tonight, it seems like almost the same game plan. The pursuit of the backside has to be at home. They cannot get crazy, because when they come out so fast, if they plant their foot and go the other way and we're out of line, we're in trouble.
All right, so Boehm, the quarterback on his second series, and he gives it to the freshman on the right side, quickly getting to the line of scrimmage, but the Cats close quickly on that play, so he's only going to pick up maybe about a yard or so.
Nice job of getting through the hole. Defensive linebackers came up and stuck it pretty well. Defensive lineman inside with Kibbe was able to stand up his offensive line, which allowed our linebackers to move around. We were able to bring him down for a short gain.
So pickup of 2 actually on the play, second down. Jasper up 14-0 on the 2-man touchdowns early on the Wildcats' first 2 possessions. Now a pitch out there just a little bit short. Looking for a split in out there, and that's Aaron Leonard, number 2.
Well, just watching individual linemen from time to time, Kibbe came off the ball so hard, he had his guy 4 yards back. And if you notice, the punishment that the quarterback's taken, he got rid of that ball way before he wanted to, and that's why it fluttered to the ground. Good pressure by the interior defense.
So the Bosse offensive line, everyone well over 200 pounds, with a couple players 265 and 250 there. Now Boehm's going to run to the outside, and he's looking downfield and just cannot quite get it there, so it's going to fall incomplete. So another 3 and out for the Bosse Bulldogs there, as he was trying to hit number 23. And I'm trying to find him on my
There was
lister.
2 or 3 of them that I seen on the roster when they were announced in the pregame that their numbers didn't jive.
Actually, it was Anthony Wide, 5'7" junior. So Bosse 3 and out again. So the Wildcat defense doing it early on. Again, you know, the Bosse Bulldogs have given up over 100 points so far in this season. They did score 13 against Vincennes, but were shut out by Evansville Central, 62-0. And you know, and that's another thing too that DeMarcus Ganaway is trying to instill in this Bosse program, is just the discipline. And you know, as you look out there and you see another player not on the field, and that's Darius Allison, number 79, kind of having to run out there at the last minute. So 2 quick penalties on both of their punts so far. Let's see if the Cats, and there's Grant Marion going after it, but not there. But Day's going to have a chance to return here from the 49-yard line across midfield and gets across the 40. So Cats will have great field position again at the 38 to start their 3rd drive.
Day gives a great example of the never say die attitude that the black and gold have this year. When he first caught that, he had 2 Bosse players there. It looked about the 45 where they were going to drop him, but he would have none of it and kept driving and pushed it down to the 39. Attitudes like that will get you a far, far way.
So 3 possessions, all 3 starting in Bosse territory here. So man under center, and we'll see if we'll have more touches for Luke Dawkins, who's playing that tailback position. As another thing the Cats want to work on is their passing game tonight, and he finds Day across the middle, and Day's going to take it in. So, man, doing it on the ground with 2 touchdowns. Now as a touchdown pass, this one goes for 39 yards as he finds wide open in the middle of the football field Isaac Day for a touchdown.
It is just really doing my heart well to see the start that Jasper has tonight. The next 2 games they have are huge, because then they start the gauntlet, you know, when they've got Central and Castle and North all on the road. So you got to have these 2. You hope as a fan to get a good start, and that's just what the Jasper Wildcats have given their fans tonight.
And Sermersheim stays perfect on the season as he just edges that through the left upright. So in the last 3 offensive plays for the Wildcats, man has run for 2 touchdowns and has now passed for 1. And the Wildcats dominate 21-0 with 7:57 to go here in the first quarter on 18 WJTS. Sermersheim has it teed up. Again, he's been perfect on extra points. He did miss a field goal last week against Memorial, and he's still working on his kickoffs there. And actually he loses the handle of the football, and the Wildcats pick it up. So just like that, and again, one of the stars of the special teams this year has been Will Winesapple, number 9. had some nice big hits earlier in the season against Harrison, and tonight comes up with a fumble recovery there.
You know, it's fun when things go your way, but the intensity early in this game, but yet 21 points. Their intensity is really on the rise, even when they're starting to get in some clean jerseys this early in the game.
Or did I miss that? Was that Peter recovered that? Again, tough time seeing the numbers. Now he's trying to find Allbrand on the first play there on a slant pattern. But it falls incomplete there, so.
You know, it may not seem like that big a deal to a lot of people, but putting the ball up in the air so when other people get this game film, you know, they're like, well, if they have to throw, they can throw. You know, of course, against rights, when you demolish them like you did on the ground, you don't put it in the air, but it's good to let teams know that you can do it if you need it.
All right, so man again trying to hook up with Allbrand, does on the left side this time, and it's close to the 10-yard line, just a little bit shy there, but I think it should be enough for a first down. We'll see where they spot it, and if they do move the chains, now we'll see a pickup of 9 and just short.
Nice job of on the curl and Allbrand catching the ball, coming across the middle to the ball instead of letting the ball come to him, because the defender was in the area. Did a nice job of getting that in curl and just coming up short.
So 3rd down and 1. Man's going to run the option, and he will keep it. Looking for the end zone again, but won't get there. He'll get inside the 5, though, and it'll be a 1st and goal right there at about the 3-yard line.
I'm not one to question an opponent's game plan, but man has, as you knew his reputation coming in, and the way he's gouged you tonight, the defensive pursuit is still going to the pitch man, or they're going to the up man. And Blake's just absolutely lit him up tonight. You might want to pay a little bit more attention to number 5.
So man has just been doing the job all year, reading that triple option offense that the Wildcats run. Now they give it to Dawkins on the left side, and he's able to take it in. So Luke Dawkins, number 14, 5'11" junior, takes it in for the Wildcats' 4th touchdown. And we haven't played half of the first quarter yet. At 6:24 on the clock, 27-0. So the Wildcats taking advantage of the fumble on the kickoff return. Recovered right there at the 20-yard line. And Sermersheim stays true. So 4 PATs kicked through by number 12, and it's 28-0. Jasper with 6:24 to go here in the first quarter here on 18 WJTS. All right, this time Sam Leonard's going to kick off for the Wildcats, and he gets a boot that's going to be, again, fielded inside the 20 there, and Cats quickly on top of it. So return to about the 26-yard line. So the Wildcats taking advantage of the fumble recovery on the kickoff, and actually recovered by Ross Peter. I think I said it was Winesapple, but regardless, both been outstanding with their play this year on the special teams. Grant Maringer's been playing well tonight with a kickoff return to start this football game and a block punt. So the Wildcats special teams doing the job tonight.
You know, that's one thing that you can say about the whole Jasper team out there. You can pick out the special teams. You can pick out Manger. You can pick out Day. But there's each and every player out there, you've got positives saying about them, and that's just awesome.
So Braylon Bain, again, look at that, just quick pressure, nowhere to go, and the offensive line for the Bosse Bulldogs just having a tough time keeping guys like Jacob Potts from getting all over their quarterback. So it's just way too difficult if you cannot keep the defense all over your backfield there, because the play just will not develop.
Well, a couple of times Bosse tried to go up to the outside, and Potts and Beekler both shut it down. So they've noticed that it's not been there, so they're trying to go inside. You know, but when you got Kelly and Kibbe saying, you know, not so fast, those 4 guys are just tearing it up.
It's 5 yards on the loss on that play, and now he's trying to throw out to the outside. And Again, the communication not there with Emmanuel Fisher, number 1, who cut inside, but the quarterback chucking out to the sideline, nobody there.
Well, I disagree with you, Craig. Jack Ubler from Jasper was standing right there, number 75. Ball came right to him.
Did he catch it? Off the turf, maybe.
No,
Yeah, and the thing is with this Bosse program, I mean, the Wildcats have played them, I think, 8 times total. Jasper leads the series 7-1. And, but, Bosse just with one winning season in the past 20 years, and that was 2013 when Coach Andre Thomas led them to a 7-5 record as Bame cannot connect in the backfield. So it's going to be another 3 and out. But, again, it's a program that's had success over the years. I mean, you go back as far as sectional championships, they have won 4 overall. And most recently in 2010, they didn't have a winning season that year, but they were able to pull off a sectional championship by knocking off Memorial 21-14. They finished with a 5-8 record. But see, that's the nice thing. When you get a little bit of a run in the tournament, everybody makes a tournament now, as opposed to back in the day whenever, you had to qualify for the tournament. And so, there are teams that can still make runs. And now there's Peter making another defensive play on the special teams. So number 2, Ross Peter, having a night tonight as he tackles the punter in the backfield, and the Wildcats will have the football at the 10-yard line here. But, again, it just takes a lot of commitment and just a new attitude to be able to build a football program that's struggled for so long like Bosse has.
Yeah, and that last play, it was a perfect visual on exactly what you were talking about. The up man, from the first guy up from the punter, that's last line of defense, was actually so far back the punter ran into him, and then we finished him off from there.
All right, so the Wildcats actually starting to make some changes in the backfield there as the quarterback change there. Grant Young saw some great action whenever man had some problems with some leg cramps last week. And Grant Young was able to keep the Wildcats. I mean, he did fumble on that drive, but you were talking about that 4th down conversion that he had. But, it just seems like that, Coach Lewis has got some confidence in this kid. And obviously we're building for the future. He's just a sophomore. But, again, just put him in the backfield and things will continue on.
Well, he does a nice job of reading. There was a great read, great move.
Beautiful play. Again, he did that against Harrison last week. So just 2 quick plays. And the Wildcats back on the scoreboard again, 34-0. But, again, that's what you got to be able to do. If you're going to run that triple option offense, you got to have a quarterback that can make those reads and have the quickness to be able to make the moves. And we're seeing it with Man, and we're also seeing it with Young this year.
Well, the one thing about Young, even though that he's coming in behind Man, Schneider, the center, is in the same grade. So they've played in youth and all that. But you come into the game speed, you're going to get the drop from, the fumble from the center once in a while. But, boy, when it was big time to show up on that 4th and 1, he sure did. So you're right, the future looks bright.
All right, so we have another penalty.
Offsides against Bosse.
So the struggles continue for this Bulldog team tonight. Had a number of penalties, and again, the Wildcats pretty well every touch is almost going into the end zone. But the Wildcats stayed perfect with the extra point, and that was actually kicked by Sam Leonard this time and held by William Schmidt. So Jasper on the board, 35-0, 4:41 to go here, still in the first quarter on 18 WJTS. Sam Leonard with his 2nd kickoff of the night after kicking an extra point. Getting his name in the books there, and now the kickoff is fielded at the 15-yard line. Quickness by the freshman, and this time he's got some running room. And it takes Leonard, the kicker, to save Bosse from going a long way on that kickoff return. So a nice play there by the Bulldogs, number 6, Darian Harden, the freshman, returning it all the way to the 42-yard line, by far their best field position of the night.
Well, a prime example of what I was talking about with Jasper and their never-say-die attitude, when the running back or the receiver on the kickoff for Bosse broke the one, they chased him all the way down, then the defense kept him out. Even our kicker is getting up there and putting the chin strap on him. It's just
what
not
a pop
going to happen.
there. Trying to see, was that Peter? making the play there. Trying to look at the monitor there. Yes, it was. So Peter's having a football game tonight. Very physical out there, making some plays, and this time he does it in the backfield and knocks Bosse back for about a yard loss there.
Well, when you have your elder statesman out there playing physical like that, like Mann has been playing, we've seen the punishment he's distributed on opponents. It's easy to catch fire with other players.
Boehm chucks it out there, connects on his first completion, and that's got some running room there. Still moving, so getting across midfield, so he hooks up with Anthony Wide, and Wide takes that all the way to the 25-yard line.
Well, Bosse's speed will go, but we've made a mistake there. We reached up and tried to bring him down with one arm. Stay fundamental, just like you did. Don't get lazy. I know you got a big lead, but stay focused.
So about 35 yards on the hook up there. Now the quarterback, Boehm, loses the handle there as he was trying to get to the outside. So the Wildcats are able to get some penetration in the backfield, and Cats making some changes on the defensive side. We'll try to point some out there, but out there playing a defensive end right now is number 44, Noah Willoughby, in on the play.
Well, when he rolled out for some of the mistakes he's made tonight, that one right there really saved him, in the sense that they still have an opportunity. If he'd have tried to pick that up with all the black shirts that were around him, that could have been another sheeter going the other way.
Right. So the fumble actually about a 10-yard loss. We'll say about 9-yard loss there, and Bosse's going to call a timeout. So Bosse on this drive, first on the kickoff return by Darian Harden, set him up nicely, then a 35-yard hookup, and they're now sitting at the 34-yard line with 2nd and 9 when we come back here on 18 WJTS. All right, so number 11, Braylon Boehm, trying to keep his Bosse drive alive here. A 35-yard hookup, but then lost 9 yards on his last play. Now he's scrambling out and looking to find some opening, and he's going to get maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and Beekler's still out there, number 24, putting pressure on him to force him to step up in the pocket there, but no gain, maybe a loss of a yard or so, but we'll still call it 3rd and 19.
But even the focus of the defensive backs are still evidently in check, because he did a nice job of rolling out to the numbers and turning the quarterback back into the pressure. And then it was just good night, Lucille, you know.
Mm-hmm. So Marringer's still out there, number 1. Albrand's over here split out with the wide receiver.
Look at that pressure.
Pass across the middle, and Peter almost comes up with an interception there. Would have been his second recovery of a turnover. He recovered a fumble, and then if he'd have picked that pass off, but it falls incomplete, will force a 4th down situation. Obviously, Bosse will go for it in Wildcat territory here at the 34.
That's just one of those where Peter was taking off with the ball before he had it in his hands, because he had played it perfectly, had his body in perfect position, ready to go the other way and probably take it to the house. Eyes got a little bit too big, and made the silly mistake of not looking it in.
Right. All right, so 4th down now for the Bulldogs. Boehm's going to go long this time. And now it's just a jump ball, and the ball falls incomplete. So the Wildcats doing the job over there, and that's Gieser, number 16, on the play.
Well, one of the few times that the Bosse offensive line gave him time to throw. And he did put it down there. Now, it was kind of a lame duck going down, but, Jasper's smart enough to know, they're looking at, 19 yards for a 1st down or somewhere in that neighborhood, and just took the long ball away. We had 3 defenders over there, had no chance of being completed.
Will take over 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line.
All right, so I think that was a sideline warning there. So the Cats will have the football, 1st and 10 from the 34. And this game now belongs to Grant Young, the quarterback, number 7. And just in the backfield, I can't see, is that, Dawkins is still back here, number 14. I saw Michael Beekler. He's actually playing a tight end spot. So it makes a move from the defensive side to the offensive side, but the Wildcats do jump on that play, so it's going to set them back 5 yards to the 29.
Well, nobody more upset with Mr. Beekler than Mr. Beekler himself. As he comes off that field, he got the penalty thrown on him. And coach is bringing him over, telling him to make sure he keeps his head in the game, make sure he stays focused on it. I'm sure we'll see him back out there.
So second down. Give the Dawkins straight up. So Luke's able to get a few of those yards back, but not enough to even get back to the original line of scrimmage. So we'll set up a second down and 12 from the 32.
Well, I will say one thing for the brothers. They hit the hole with the same kind of aggressiveness. So
now this time a sideline warning against the Wildcats. So
I hate it when they throw those random flags.
Right.
But Dawkins, I mean, he hits that hole hard. You know, when you got like 40 less pounds, though, that makes a big difference, especially when you hit that initial line of defense.
Right. All right, so 46 seconds left in the quarter. Should be the last play. Cats leading 35-0. Now they give on the counter to the right side, and is that trying to see if it was Berger or Day who carried the football there. We'll see once he gets up here, but
looks like it's Berger.
Berger does carry it, so he picks up about 5 on that play, and that should bring us to the end of the quarter as we're down to 22 seconds. But
well, Bosse's looking at the first quarter like we are looking at the year 2020. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah, pretty well the case so far in this football game. The Wildcats pretty well dominating from the start. Just right from the kickoff return by Grant Maringer to kind of set the stage for what we have on the board right now. 35-0, Jasper dominating Bosse here on 18 WJTS. We're set to start the second quarter. Ball at the 37-yard line, 3rd down and 7. And here comes Young, going to throw the football, and a little sidearm pass, and it completes right there to Berger. And look at Berger make the move, and he's going to take it a long way for the touchdown. So a little sideline 5 and out results in another touchdown for the Wildcats, and this one goes 53 yards.
It's really good to see Berger have that happen. He's been putting in a lot of the dirty work on crackback blocks, and with man coming out to the far side, he's been the man in motion or Day. Those are the two primaries. But this, you know, in the one game where Berger dropped the ball and it looked like a sure touchdown, it's really nice to see him get one there.
Check out that 63 yards on the touchdown play. Cats were at the 37-yard line, and the kick is straight through. So no matter who you put out there to kick the extra points, the Cats are able to do that as well. And Sam Leonard with another one right there. So, yeah, and I agree with you, Bob. I mean, again, you know, Berger hasn't played football since his freshman year, comes out his senior year, and, you know, obviously we already got things established in the backfield with man, and then you have Dawkins. But, again, a big part of that triple option is what you can do with your slot backs. And we're able to do it with Day, and we're able to do it with Berger. So, again, it just gives us a lot of versatility overall with this offense.
Well, to see him lay off and then come back, like you said, and be a difference maker, you know, there's an old saying out there. You have teams out there that have athletes that play football. But then when you have football players that are athletes, that's a totally different thing, because playing football is a mentality.
Right, right.
You know, you got to be big and dumb like me. And but there is a physical mentality you have to have. So Jasper this year is very blessed to have a bunch of football players that are good athletes.
Absolutely. All right, so Leonard continues on with the kicking duties. Sam Leonard, a junior. Man, he gets a beautiful boot this time. That's going to send Harden back a little bit, and he's going to have to field that at the 4-yard line. But again, if he can get through one of those seams there,
boy, they
he's
come
got
up
the
in a hurry.
Yeah, again, nice return last time of 38 yards, and this one, Cats are able to slow him up at the 25.
It is just so important to stay in your lanes when you come down the field, so they can't cut it to the back. I mean, when you're dealing with this kind of speed, the slightest mistake, and, you know, it's good night, Irene.
You know, and one thing also with this Bosse program, with Ganaway taking over, and, you know, he's been around successful programs and, you know, even got to the NFL at one point. But, you know, with the pandemic, it's really been tough for him because, you know, he takes over this program this year, and, you know, one of the things that you have to do is try to recruit players to come out. I mean, you know, I think they had 45 players to start this season, and, you know, again, you're going to have attrition throughout the season and everything, whether it's injuries or guys leaving and stuff like that. But, you know, he was talking about, like at Ben Davis, there were really kind of three things that was successful for the football program, and that was, you know, number one, your commitment to football, your commitment. And a lot of football players ran track, and Ben Davis has always been very successful in track. But also, he said, we hit the weight room hard. And so that's something that he's trying to basically create for this program here. And, you know, he's got his work cut out for him. But, again, when you have a pandemic like we did this year and you're not in school and not able to talk to the kids and get kids to come out, it just makes it take a little bit more time to build that.
Absolutely. You know, for generations, I mean, back when we played to the kids today, the coaches can't be in that weight room every single minute.
Right.
So they have to know in their heart that you're in there working, or really hope to heck like you are. But it is up to the individual to push himself that much further and push him that much harder, and to have teammates to help you when you start to slow up.
Right.
And once they turn that edge, look out for Bosse.
You know, and the other thing, too, is that in the article, the preseason article, they talked about Shane Burkhardt, and there's a fumble on the football field, so Bame, the tough situation there, and is able to not even get back to the line of scrimmage, so he'll lose a couple yards there. But, you know, like Shane Burkhardt, obviously Bosse's had great success on the basketball court, and, you know, was one of the state powers with that. But he's encouraging a lot of his players to come out for football because he just feels like that's going to make them better basketball players, and he just wants the kids to, you know, remain active throughout the year.
Well, and that's the other thing that's really tough for him, is being that he's had success in a personal level, getting up to the, you know, the top of the top, up with the Jets, to look out and to see this. You know what it takes, and when the kids don't buy into it, your patience are going to be tested like no other.
Right.
So, you know, if he can hold his patience and he can give this 2-3 yards, and the kids see that he doesn't want just them to buy into it. He's showing the kids, I'm buying into this program.
Right.
When they start giving you that little bit of trust, you know, good things are going to happen. But that's tough to achieve.
Right. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break here while we get the timeout so we can have a commercial break. Jasper up 42-0. When we come back, Bosse will have the ball at the 45 here on 18 WJTS. Actually, it's second down and 12. Scoreboard had first down and 12. I was wondering what's going on there. But second down and 12 here. Bosse with the football. Bame looks to his right, now the middle of the field, but the Cats close in.
Fumble.
And ball may have fallen down there on the field. Does not come up, but Wildcats doing the job. And number 68, Jackson Bauer. If I see it right, or is that 66?
That's big.
Tyler
66.
Kelly. Okay, that was 66. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, he's
Jackson Bauer is out there also. He's a sophomore. He's on the defensive line right now.
Yeah, he's getting playing time for Dawkins in there, but the pocket is actually set up initially really well by Bosse, and then just all of a sudden it collapses.
So a loss on the play of about 7. Now quarterback
Nice
Bame
pass.
has to throw out there, but a nice pop coming up. Cooper Ewing, number 13. Puts a nice hit on the receiver, so a good stop there. They pick up maybe about 5 yards on the play, but sets them right back at the 45, and that's where Bosse will have to punt the football.
You know, physical play is just, it's so addicting. I mean, everybody's doing it out there. You know, for especially last week, the goal line stand, everything. Everybody wanted to talk about that pop man put on him on third down by the goal line. That physical play, you see one guy do it, and everybody wants to do it.
Berger gets a return here. Sees an open to the outside if he can turn the corner here, but he is knocked out of bounds. So gets it across midfield, I believe, and it's right there at the 50, so a return of about 26 yards, we'll call it, and so the Cats will have it 1st and 10 from the 50 there.
Well, I tell you what, once he broke that 25-yard line, he got to the 50 in a hurry. He really turned the Jets coming up here on the side. And to Bosse's credit, you know, being down 42-0 early in the second quarter, it would have been easy to throw the white flag up and not pursue, but they did.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at midfield. Young will engineer another drive here. Grant Young, 5'8", 148-pound sophomore. And they give it to the fullback, and that's Dawkins, and he loses the football, and it is recovered by the Bosse Bulldogs. So ball hit the turf there, and quickly picking it up was Anthony Wide, number 23.
Well, when he comes off the field, the brother's going to be sitting there talking to him. You have got to be so strong with that ball going through. And he's had a couple of nice plays. He's hit the hole hard. You know, he's averaging a little bit over 3 yards a carry, which is, you know, what you need in a pinch. That will eventually get you the first down. But it is so important to squeeze that arm, you know, the football when you go through.
All right, so Bosse gets it right back. Punted from the 45 last time, now actually at the 48-yard line here. So just trying to get it into some playmakers' hands, and so a quick pitch and catch out there to the outside. So the man who recovered the fumble, Anthony Wide, with a big reception there and a pickup of 9 yards on that first down play.
Well, by far, in my opinion, from start to finish, the best play Bosse's run all night. But they're not trying to beat Jasper deep with their speed. That one there, they tried the little screen pass, and we were too far off.
So 2nd down and 1, 8:03 left here in the first half. Jasper up 42-0. Dominating early on in this football game. So Bain sees an opening to the left side and will run for a first down. So a pickup of about 6 on that play will set him up at the 36-yard line. So Bosse with the move here.
Well, Jasper's interior did a nice job of coming in and getting a little bit of pressure on him. What they didn't do, as what that first unit did, was when he was in the pocket, they didn't let the pocket get holes in it. There was one there on the left side. He's seen it and snuck through there. We need to stay in our lanes a little bit better as we come up.
Clock ticking at 7:41 right now. And again, miscommunication. The split out receiver was Amari Hope, another freshman playing on this varsity team right now, but not able to communicate with the quarterback there, and the ball falls incomplete.
Well, boy, I tell you, when you say a little bit of miscommunication, that's not even being in the same book. I mean, there wasn't anybody within 10 yards.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times tonight. So 2nd down and 10. For the Wildcats, is pretty well most of the starters are out of the football game, and however, number 14, Luke Dawkins, making a nice pop on that play. He started tonight for his brother at the fullback spot. Lance Dawkins couldn't quite get what the injury was, but.
Well, Cameron Whiteside, a 6'1", 150 defensive back, did a nice job of pursuing up and turning him in, and there was Mr. Dawkins, and he just finished him off. So good teamwork right there.
So 3rd and long, 3rd and 9. Bame, as he has most of the night, flushed out of the pocket, but he's going to get some positive yardage just shy of the 30-yard line. They'll spot it at the 31, so be a 4th down situation here. Obviously down 42-0, and in Wildcat territory, you go for it here.
Absolutely, and as a coach, you're just looking for anything. This tonight, even though, you know, they're down on the 30-yard line, is Bosse's best drive of the night. So the coach will take some positives out of this into halftime, if we ever get to halftime.
And they force the Wildcats to jump off there. So number 81, Cameron Whiteside, playing a defensive end spot, is the guilty party. So it looks like they're just a little
Offside is the call against Jasper.
on this side of a 5 yards needing for the first down. So I think you're just going to be shy. Now they're going to give him the first down.
Why not?
Yeah, the way it kind of was spotted over there, it looked like they needed about 5.5 yards, but nope, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. 6:16 to go here in the first half. Looking to get their first score of the night as they trail 42-0.
Well, a big mistake by Jasper. Jumping off sides is really tough for the defensive coordinator to swallow, but you jump off sides, give him a first down, that just drives him through the roof.
Ames going to roll to his right, and he's going to loft it out there. It's going to be short, and it is picked off at the 10-yard line. Return opportunity there, but that's number 25, Ben Hinkie. And he returns it to, looks like they'll spot it about the 28-yard line. So a nice defensive play there, short on the pass there, but Hinkie, how many times have we seen defensive backs just drop that? We saw Peter earlier with an easier interception, so it's a good play. You make that play and turn something into it, and he gets it to the 28-yard line.
He did a nice job of just kind of floating around back there. We started to get some defensive pressure, especially when he started to roll out. The speed of Jasper was getting away from the size of Bosse, putting a little pressure, and he just floated out there in outfield, just waiting for the ball to come down, read it perfectly, and away he went.
All right, so here comes Young running the option. He's going to keep it straight up, and now he's getting opening. He's going to cross midfield at the 50. He can stay to the outside across the 40 down to the 35-yard line. So what a run there by the sophomore quarterback. He's doing it. Did it against Harrison, did it a few times against Wrights last week, and then a nice run tonight against the Bosse Bulldogs.
Well, in the Wrights game, where he showed a little bit of savvy and a little bit of strength of getting around that end, getting that all-important first down on when we were 3 yards short in our territory. But there he showed that he has speed. So, you know, Jasper's future looks pretty bright.
So we'll call it about a 39-yard run there for the sophomore. Now they give it on the counter. The cuts inside there is number 18, Victor Peter, a sophomore, 5'9", 150, and he had a nice run there to get it to the 26-yard line.
I will say this, Coach Lewis really has those guys, even though they're not coming in with the size and the strength of Dawkins, it seems like every one of them, whether it's coming on a reverse, whether it's fullback, tailback pitch, they hit that hole with authority. You get a little bit of strength, you'll be able to drag some people with you. But the most important thing and the first thing you got to do is hit that hole with authority, and they're all doing it right now.
All right, so 2nd down and 3. Jasper up 42-0, 4 minutes and 23 seconds to go here. And Dawkins gets the carry on the right side, and he'll get the first down.
Kind of looked like Lance on that one. You know, he got hit right as he got to the line of scrimmage, and he just bounced off a few and drug a few with him. That was a really nice job of keeping your hips underneath you and driving.
Actually, the wind picks up a little bit here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Wildcats dominating tonight on Joe Roletter Field, 42-0, inside of 4 minutes to go here. Wildcats reserves getting a lot of action tonight, and this time number 22 carries the football, and that's Cale Schmidt, a junior.
Yeah, in that particular one, Bosse just hit the slant right. They came right off the center's nose, and that hole was closed up before it happened.
So about a 1-yard gain to the 20-yard line. So Cats looking to maybe put another one on the board right now. Again, 42-0, 3:17 to go here in the first half. So it's been all Wildcats, of course.
This is a big play right here.
Grant Young actually did not pull that one back because it looked like it was wide open daylight for either himself or if he pitches it out to Victor Peter, number 18. But the dive play only picks up about a yard on that play.
Well, Mann was doing, when he came in as, you know, at the beginning of last year, he was kind of making reads like that. But you stick with it, and Mann shows you the way it can be, and Young is not that far off. He's going to get there.
Man in motion, he keeps it this time. Now he pitches it out, and right there at the D of roll letter. Rolled out of bounds was number 18, Victor Peter.
I wonder if they're going to try a field goal here.
Yeah, it looks like they are. They're going to give Leonard a chance to do it. So why not? I mean, again.
You never know when you're going to need it down the road.
Absolutely. So Heichelbeck hustles out there and takes his left tackle spot. So again, number 87, William Schmidt will hold. Nice snap. The hold is there. And Leonard, did he put it through? Yes, he does. So Leonard pops through a 27-yard, well, actually back 7, so a 34-yard field goal, and Leonard 3 points on the board. So 45-0, Jasper leads with 2:21 to go here in the first half here on 18 WJTS. So the kicking game's been outstanding for the Wildcats this whole season. Tonight, Sam Leonard gets his first field goal in varsity action, a 34-yarder, and Jasper up 45-0. And Harden, the freshman, had some nice returns tonight. And again, nice head of steam. And I tell you what, that's what I like on kickoff returns. You know, a lot of times you get guys that try to dance too much, and I just love when guys just go north to south, because it seems like a lot of times when something opens up, it's because that, you know, the middle of the field opens up with good blocking up front.
You know, the specialty team coaches, they tell the receivers, when you get it, give them an opportunity to get it set. And like you said, when you get guys up there that do not run north and south, the guys are blocking over here on the left hash mark when he's over here running on the right side. It's like, trust your team.
Yeah. All right, so there's a positive play, running the football. Trying to see the number there. Was that number 13? And that's Jaden Thomas, sophomore running back. So he gets a nice pickup there.
Well, smart move by their coach over there, trying to go to the hurry up. I know there's only 1:50 left, but they may stay with this pace the rest of the game.
So dancing around, the Wildcats able to close that up quickly. Try to see some numbers. Hankey, number 25, in on the play.
Well, when you get the guys in there, like they're going hurry up now, they don't want these inexperienced linemen to be looking up and trying to figure things out. They want to hit them as fast as they can and hopefully break one.
All right, so Boehm probably got himself dropped back too deep in that pocket, and eventually the Wildcats able to get there. And coming up with the tackle is number 81, Cameron Wyside.
Well, that's totally on the quarterback. He had plenty of time to throw it away if he needed to, but he got back, and he's been punished so hard tonight. The first thing he was looking for was not his receivers. Where's the Jasper defensive line coming in at?
Right. Oh, actually, it was a fumble on the play, so the Wildcats come up with a football. So I was wondering, because I thought it was still third down there, but Bosse went off the field and changed with their defense, and so here come the Wildcat offense.
Nice
Young
read.
pitches it out, and oh, what a pop there. A couple guys in on it, including number 23, Anthony White, and number 33, Kalen Robb there.
Well, they came in and put a real nice pop on Peter, but Peter just bounced right back up, ran back to the huddle, and said, let's go again.
That's right. That's why you wear pads.
Absolutely.
All right, so Cooper Ewing, number 13, is going to split to the far side. They bring Cabrick, who's in the football game, Charlie Cabrick, but they give it to the fullback on the right side. So nice run there. Trying to see who carried it there. Actually, Cale Schmidt, number 22, with another carry, and that one picks up a good chunk of yards, of about 5 or 6 there.
Did a nice job of running after contact. I've noticed that the more clean shirts that are getting in there, each one of them has that same mindset. You know, run yards after run yards after contact.
Grant Young makes the right decision there. Looked like he was going to pitch it out, but then turns upfield, so a perfect read. And that will bring us to the end of the first half. So dominated from the very start, the Jasper Wildcats putting 45 points on the board here in the first half, Bob. So thoughts so far of this football game?
It's one-sided.
A workmanlike effort, you know? Basically,
Well,
you just got to show up and bring your lunch pail tonight.
Yeah, really the big difference in the game is you see the athletes over there on the opposing sideline. It's just buying in, and they're just not there yet. It looks like they've got a few players, but hopefully those few players will come more, because you are only going to get better in the playoffs if every game you play every week is a battle. Yeah, they've got Mater Dei and coming up in Central and all that. It's good to see that in a blowout they're keeping their focus, but you really need that battle, each and every week. So I don't know. Some guys like a week off in a game like this. I'm not one of those guys. I just, focus, because it's easy to lose it in a game like this. But Jasper's just dominating.
Right. All right, so we'll take a break. Halftime, Jasper 45, Evansville Bosse 0 here on 18 WJTS. Played on Joe Rolliter Field. The Jasper Wildcats with a dominant first half performance, leading this football game 45-0. And taking a look at the numbers, 24 offensive plays run by the Wildcats, 297 yards. 20 rushes for 186 yards, and passing, 3 or 4 passing for 111 yards, it shows here. And actually taking a look here, Blake Mann hasn't played much tonight. 4 carries for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he turned things over to Grant Young. He's the second leading rusher tonight with 4 carries for 62 yards and a score. And then Luke Dawkins getting the start tonight as his brother Lance is on the sideline. And he had 5 carries for 15 yards. Victor Peter, 3 carries for 11. Mann was 2 of 3 passing for 48 yards and a score. And Grant Young with 1 of 1 passing for 63 yards and a touchdown. So, and those touchdowns also, Caleb Berger with a catch for 63 yards and a score. Isaac Day with a 39-yard touchdown reception. Albran had 1 catch for 9 yards. And Grant Maringer with a 50-yard kickoff return. So just a lot of highlights as far as the offense and the special teams. And that also includes Sam Leonard, who put the 45th point on the board with a 34-yard field goal right there towards the end of the first half. And defensively, guys like Ross Peter doing the job, Luke Dawkins, Jacob Potts, Noah Willoughby also here on the stats here with 1.5 tackles himself. So dominant performance for the Wildcats, obviously with the score of 45-0, Bob.
I really didn't think it was possible that someone could explain or describe a dominant performance and actually be polite about it.
kind of ho-hum, right?
Goodness
Put almost
gracious.
300 yards of offense in the first half.
It was, especially with that first unit out there, it was like they weren't even trying. It was just either Bosse really has that much growing going to do, or Jasper's just executing so well that they're playing an inferior team and they're just making it look that easy. So I guess we'll learn about the execution part of it a little bit later on in the season, because I'm expecting a whole bunch more of the same here in the second half.
Yeah.
Because our second team played most of that half, or as far as the second quarter goes, and dominated.
And for Bosse, Braylon Bain, probably most of the offense, and three completions for 50 yards. And Harden's going to field that ball at the 15-yard line. There's the middle of the field. Now he's got that opening, and it just takes the kicker. And the ball was actually, he was down before he lost contact there, or lost handle of the football, but nice return. Field at the 15-yard line, and almost a 30-yard return. We call it a 29-yard return to the 44.
Well, the play that stopped that one, the player, I should say, that stopped that one from going to the house was his own teammate, number 28, Madison, just didn't get out of his way. He had a good cut. It was kind of a 50-50 shot whether Jasper was going to get him, but that was Jasper's last opportunity. But with his player getting in his way, it just had no way to develop.
All right, so Bosse, 1st and 10 from the 44. Now Baines keeping it, but Cats right there again. Number 18, Victor Peters, going to get credit for the tackle for loss on that play.
All night long you've been saying, you know, Peters, or you've been saying Day, or you've been saying this guy, or you've been saying that guy. Everybody's getting into the act, but no matter who's in the game, no matter what unit is in there, the pursuit is the same. So even though you may have a little bit more experience with that first unit, the way these guys pursue on defense, it makes you really feel good about Jasper's future.
Right. All right, so a loss of 2 on that play. 2nd down and 12.
Already.
And Bulldogs. I said Bullhogs almost there. The Bulldogs call the timeout.
No disrespect, but it's it's 45-0.
Well, again, you're trying to build a program. You're trying to build up, confidence of your quarterback and all that. So it's just, we'll give them a break here, and we'll take a break. 10-15, 45-0. Jasper leads Bosse here on 18 WJTS. All right, so the Bulldog offense back on the field against the Wildcat defense. 2nd down and 12. Harden, the freshman, shows some quickness there, but also very quick was Charlie Cabrick to slow him up and allowing the finish there by number 66, Tyler Kelly.
Oh, Cabrick was...
Or check at 68. That was Bauer, Jackson Bauer, my bad.
Cabrick got up there in a hurry. And I can't stress enough to the youngsters out there that are watching these guys play. Not that these guys aren't youngsters, especially to me, but the way they get to the ball and then break down and get under control instead of just flying by and trying to stick an arm out and try to tackle. We've seen those players.
Right.
They're not successful. These guys are being successful.
So 2 plays and 2 losses, and that ball's going to fall incomplete. So good pressure up the middle. Again, trying to pick out the number of who made that play, and that looks like it was number 59, Luke Schmidt, making a play. So good job for the senior getting an opportunity to play tonight.
Well, it's gotten to the point with the Bosse quarterback to where his main concern is not getting hit anymore. I mean, he has just been absolutely punished in this game. And he's getting the ball out. He's throwing it way early. And that's why the timings are so off. So good pressure by the interior line.
So the punt pushes Braylon Bear back, and he's going to have a nice return here, but we're going to see penalty flags fly. So I think this is going to be a penalty on the Wildcats as it rests right there at the 29-yard line. The flag does.
Yeah, I believe so. And I didn't know if he was going to actually throw it. I guess he figured, well, I better, because he was kind of fumbling around. Maybe he couldn't just get a hold of it, but it looked like he was a little indecisive. It's, at this score, sometimes you see the referees just try to help move the game along.
Right. Well, again, it is a running clock. Clock is running. We're right coming up on the 8-minute mark. Jasper 45, Bosse nothing. Will be a running clock for the entire second half. And it looks like a change at quarterback for the Wildcats. Joey McGimsey, the junior, number 6, getting a chance to run an offense here. And I think in the backfield is the senior William Schmidt at fullback spot. McGimsey actually keeps it and sweeps to the outside, turns the field, and will get across the 25 to the 27-yard line. So a nice pickup of about 7 or 8 on that first play.
One thing that I really enjoy seeing about this Jasper team this year is guys are in positions right now that they're normally not in, going in there having some success, and their teammates are just as happy for them as they are when Blake Mann does it.
Right.
So just great attitude that the black and gold are reigning with this year.
Cats split out Zachary Maringer, and let's give to the fullback straight up. And I'll check that. Actually, it's number 47 out there. I thought it said 87, but that's 47 carrying the football, and that's Evan Crowder.
47, Evan Crowder on the carry for Jasper.
Actually, William Schmidt checked back in, so I think they're maybe make some change there, but Schmidt's going to split out as a wide out this time. But, that's the thing, too. I mean, some of these kids, like Schmidt, came back out for football this year. He had a really bad injury his freshman year. So, love it when the seniors that come out for their final season and all that get an opportunity to get on the field and do some things. But, the main thing to help develop a football team is what you do in practice. And I think you get seniors that are willing to come out that missed a couple years and maybe not get an opportunity to play much on Friday nights, and they can't play JV football at all. But again, their game day is mostly during those practices.
Absolutely. And when they get in there, you can just imagine the energy that's running through their bodies. And these guys are really running hard.
So there's a nice run there.
Should
and
be
actually, yep, they're going to say he was down, but number 47 with another carrier, and that's Evan Crowder, the senior. Showed some nice quickness there to gain 8.
Yeah, when he hit the ground, you know, the referee had already blown his whistle, and he started to move forward, trying to get back up, try to sell the point that he didn't touch his knee, and that's where the ball popped out. But this back judge over here had no part of it.
So Schmidt splits out to our near side here. Cabrick goes in motion, and that's a fumbled snap, but the penalty flag was thrown before the snap, so this will go against the Wildcat offensive line.
Well, it's definitely one time you're happy to get a penalty. Took out any chance of Bosse recovering that.
So that sets the Wildcats back into their own territory at the 47-yard line, 2nd down and 7.
Well, as we alluded to with Young, and he came in and had a couple of fumbled snaps in a couple of games in the previous weeks, you expect that. You just don't want to see it time and time again.
The Cats with a nice surge there. Included number 75, Jack Ubelor, moving his man back. Also out there on the offensive line, Owen Wiseman, number 57, checking into the huddle right now is number 20, Mason Mock, the sophomore.
Pretty impressive whenever you push the ball all the way up to the first down marker, and when the running back gets up, he looks to the left, he looks to the right, the front and the back, and his linemen are all around him.
Gives it to the fullback there, and I think looks like the line judge on the far side might have the Wildcats a little bit short there, maybe about a foot short maybe, so it's going to be a 4th down here for the Cats.
Well, I tell you what, the line judges really played havoc with us last week in Wrights. One came in on that goal line stand. One came in on the 4, which is what you called, but then when they placed the ball, it was back behind the 5. So I guess the guy on the far side was the tougher of the two.
So McGimsey, the quarterback, under center, 4th and inches.
They're bringing it.
And I think the second move there will give the Wildcats the 1st down. So number 47, Crowder, gets another run, and he will get the yardage, so it should be a 1st down for the Cats.
Well, he gets a big assist from Anthony Wide, who was underneath him, so when he spun, his hip didn't hit the ground. He just rolled over on 23 and got that extra, so maybe a little pat on the back to number 23.
So Merringer checks into the huddle, number 11. Set up in a tight end spot over here is Will Winesapple. Now they run the counter. And good running room there for number 18, Victor Peter.
Boy, when he cut that up, he cut it up with authority. And it was a good thing because there was some pursuit coming pretty good from the backside. But because he hit that hole so fast, he was 3 yards down the field before he was able to lay contact on him.
So the Wildcat offense with a little bit of movement here. We're at the 40-yard line, 45-0. Running clock here in the second half at 2 minutes and 10 seconds and ticking. Now McGimsey gets a chance to run the option, and a good stop there by the Bosse Bulldogs. Trying to see which offensive or defensive lineman making the play, and that was number 78 coming up, and that's Caleb Thomas.
Yeah, he took a little bit of punishment on that, but that would have been very iffy if he would have tried to pitch it. And at this point, you know, just stay away from the mistakes. And he did a nice job of making a read and took one for the team, let's say.
35 to 41.
All right, so number 6, Joey McGimsey, the quarterback, will run the option this time. Pitches it out to Cabrick, can't handle it, and he will lose yardage on that play as he gets knocked back, and actually going to give him the forward progress to the About the 44-yard line is where they'll spot that, so it's a 4th down for the Cats.
Well, when you run that triple option, when the tailback is a little bit deeper and a little bit further away, you got to put a little bit of pepper on that ball to get it out there. And that one kind of floated a little bit, and it was kind of going towards the ground by the time it hit his hands. Did a nice job, though, of getting a recovery.
So the Cats will need 8 yards to keep this drive alive, and they run a counter there, and the ball hits the turf, and he's going to be short anyway, so we'll turn over downs to the Bosse Bulldogs as number 18 had the carry there, Victor Peter.
Coaching staff is definitely taking notes of the ball hitting the turf. Jasper's getting it back, but that is a teaching moment, and in a game like this, you have to search pretty hard
right.
for teaching moments, but that right there will be an opportunity for Coach Lewis and this Jasper coaching staff to, let these young men know that even though the game's out of reach, when you're in the game, we expect you to control that ball.
All right, so actually Bosse's going to let the clock run out, so they'll have the football to start the 4th quarter. So we're at the end of 3. Jasper 45, Bosse 0 here on 18 WJTS. 4th quarter. Bame remains the quarterback for the Bosse Bulldogs. They trail 45-0. So trying to make some plays out there, but a nice defensive play coming up. Number 44 with the sack, and that's Noah Willoughby.
It just doesn't matter at this point who Jasper puts in there. They're all making contact, and they're all getting pressure. And he's getting back there and stepping up, and the pursuit is just excellent from any player that comes in.
So Willoughby, a senior, put a sack in the books for his final year of high school football, and they give it to Harden, the freshman, on the right side, but the Cats close. Well, he keeps his feet and gets to the 45-yard line before he's brought down.
High praise to him. It's when it's this far out of reach and the clock is run, just, roll over and, go back and go to 4th down. But he was fighting for every yard there. High praise.
Dane Smith is checked into the Wildcat defensive line, and now a nice pass out there and complete. So a good hookup between the quarterback and going to number 23, Anthony Wide. So 1st down for the Bulldogs. They're looking to try to get some points on the board. The Wildcats with the shutout right now, 45-0, clock ticking at 10:31.
Well, by far his best toss of the night. I mean, right on point, good timing, good zip on it, and then, good things to happen.
So in Wildcat territory now are the Bulldogs, and they give, what a pop, what a pop. Make sure we see who made that play. Woo, what a hit by Cale Schmidt, the junior, number 22. He just absolutely leveled the Bosse running back.
I almost fell out of my chair on that one when he hit him. It was just like you get so excited. Wow.
Make Jaden Thomas think twice about that run, but he popped right up as well. So Bame with a nice toss across the middle to Wide again.
But look how many black shirts are over there. All but the 2 that's protecting the backside.
So Wide gets the Bulldogs to the 40-yard line, 3rd down.
3rd and 3 at the 40.
Bame looks towards the middle, and he's got 23, and it's still bouncing around, and at the last second, number 19, Ty Wiseman, making a play. And that ball was in the hands of number 23, Wide, and he wasn't able to hang on. It bounced around, looked like he was going to maybe recover there, but nice play by Wiseman to knock it off.
Well, the ball was definitely coming back down in his hands, but once again, the never say die attitude of these Wildcats and sticking with it and knocking it away at the last second.
You always want to have pride and pull off those shutouts. Time for Bame to move around. Now he's trying to get up, and will he get that 1st down? And they're saying the ball was down, but I think he's going to be short, so it's going to be a turnover on downs to the Jasper Wildcats. So Wildcats defense been a little bit there, but able to secure so far that 0 on the scoreboard.
I almost had to bite my tongue on that one because I said about 3 yards before where they laid the ball down, he had no shot, and he somehow squeezed through there and made it close.
All right, so the Wildcats come back out. Joey McGimsey will remain at the quarterback spot, number 6. It's a good quarterback play tonight by Mann early on, then Grant Young took over.
You know, the big plus of having somebody like Blake Mann as your quarterback, every player that comes out, especially if you play the quarterback position, nice roll, nice pitch.
Pitch out to Cabrick. Charlie gets across the 40 to about the 43.
But when especially at the quarterback position, you want playing time. And when you have somebody as talented as Blake Mann, you must raise your game or you got no shot. So it's a blessing to have people like Dawkins and Mann and those guys come through, because that makes the younger guys work that much harder to get their little scraps.
Right. You know, it's also an opportunity right now to kind of go through some of the names on the coaching list for the Wildcats. I know that we kind of get focused on the football game a lot of times, but obviously with Coach Tony Lewis and some new names we're seeing like Teague Lewis also coaching with the team. Joe Shelton is the defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator is Matt Bajorek, and he's done an outstanding job this year of making a lot of the calls, especially with this triple option offense. Gavin Lake-Leiter, Braxton Mann, Jared Land back with the freshman team, of course. And also Joe Buck, Matt Messmer, Dave Messmer, they help out with the statistics. So again, Wildcat coaching staff with this football team, and they're 4-0 for the first time, I think, since 2013 or 2014, I think the Herald said. So Wildcat team will continue on, and actually coming into this football game, obviously with the success that the Wildcats have had so far in the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, they are ranked number 4 in the AP media poll this week, and that is ahead of Central, who is number 7, who's also undefeated coming into tonight. In the coaches poll, they have Central at number 5 and the Wildcats at number 7, so pretty well interchange either one of those teams, but they will be playing each other in a couple weeks. The Wildcats will have Mater Dei next week. And there's a nice run. That's Cabrick, number 8. So he'll get to about the 40-yard line, so a pickup of 8 on that play.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with you, Craig. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Jasper's going to pull this game out. And then the game with Mater Dei. But unfortunately, on the Central game the very next week, I'm going to be out of town, and you and I were discussing it. That very well could come down to conference.
Right. Of course, you got Evansville North, who's also undefeated in the conference. So the quarterback, number 6, Joey McGimsey. Not much running room there. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. But yeah, coming into tonight, you had Central 3-0, North 3-0, Jasper 3-0, Wrights 2-1. Castle, who last week was supposed to play Bosse, but they had a positive test. I think they were back in action tonight. Actually, looking at the schedule, they were at Harrison, so you would think Castle would have won that football game. But they won't be making up the game, obviously, against Bosse. There's just no room in the schedule for that to happen. So McGimsey, I think, kept the football there. It's going to be a little bit short of the first down. We'll bring up a 4th down there, but, you know.
That's really strange the way they do that, because being that you would think that if Castle was the one that, you know, they had the test and they couldn't play, but Bosse could, that Bosse should have got that W. Because when you do it that way, not that it comes down, you know, everybody's in the playoffs, but you could have definitely a two-way tie for the conference. You know, if Jasper and Central don't play, but yet they still go 8-0.
Sure. All right, so did he get the first down yardage? McGimsey kept the football, but I think he's just going to be shy, so that's going to be a turnover on downs, and Bosse will take over. Clock continues to run as we will run out the final 3.5 minutes of this football game. 45-0, Jasper leads.
Well, this is when you're the Bosse coaching staff that you don't mention that Jasper doesn't have their starters in there, and you go, see, when you play this hard and you hit the gaps that hard, you can stop, them. They've scored 45, but, we held them scoreless in the second half, and you just try to build from that. Don't mention the other part of it, but you try to build, get some trust, and away you go.
All right, so Bame's going to keep it to the right side. Cats get the penetration there and make the stop. So number 81, defensive end, it's Cameron Wyside with the stop there.
Well, Jasper's doing such a good job of making him go east to west or sideline to sideline for the people that don't get that. But, you were talking about on the kickoff, guys that go north and south, You got a lot better chance of getting positive yards if you're going north and south than whether you're going east and west.
2:26 on the clock as we wind down. The freshman Harden to the outside, trying to sweep there, but a good pickup there by Cale Schmidt. He's shown some quickness getting after these running backs here.
Coach Lewis had mentioned earlier about how a lot of these teams that they're going to go up against, they're actually going to be undersized. You wouldn't think that with the domination, but he talks about with their quickness and their technique that they're able to not only get the job done early, but sustain that throughout the game. And that's what put Wrights away, and that's what will put other good teams away.
All right, Bame looking to go downfield, but again, that pocket quickly collapses, and I think there's a fumble on the field, and the Wildcats recover it, but I guess they're going to say the quarterback was down, but it will bring up a 4th down.
Not that I don't want to see somebody in the black and gold get a fumble recovery. It's good to see that this thing's not going to get a whole lot worse. And
right.
You know what? Kudos to Coach Lewis. He could have made a huge statement, but just he's been there before. He understands.
Oh yeah. And really, what's the point? I mean, you dominated the football game. You're obviously a better team on the field. You're winning 45-0, and just give these kids a chance to get out on the football field and play that normally don't get too many opportunities, especially the seniors. I tell you, that's a nice over-the-shoulder catch there by Braylon Bear, and gets a positive return to the 45-yard line. So Jasper, I don't even know we'll have to run a play. We got 37 seconds, and I think the officials are just going to let this run out down to 33. They haven't started the play clock just yet. They're kind of delaying things until they get the footballs off the field, and we will be inside and just let it run out. So,
yeah, that's a good move on their part.
So the Jasper Wildcats, again, whatever their record is, it's a conference record as well, because every game is a conference game for this conference, the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, now 4-0, and let's see if they move up in the power rankings. They had Central, North, and Jasper 1, 2, and 3 in the Courier Journal. I'm sorry, the Evansville Courier power rankings. Southridge was 4 and Castle 5 coming into tonight. But dominant performance early on, and the Wildcats just took care of business, Bob.
Jasper's putting up such gaudy numbers right now. They did. They took care of business. The one thing you want to do when you run into a team like this, and we've all seen it at all kinds of different levels, when you're the superior team, do not let the other team for any reason get any momentum. We almost seen them bite Jasper in the rear end in the Memorial game, where we had the fumbles. We clearly were a better team than Memorial.
Right.
It should have been a lot bigger spread, but they held true, and they ended up getting that. You look at these numbers, we talked about before the game that Jasper had scored 99 points in 3 games. They're up to 144, and they're still stuck at only allowing 24.
Yeah.
So they're allowing 6 points a game, and they're well over 30.
Sure.
And if those numbers can stay even half that in their next big run with Mater Dei and Central and Castle and North, and of course we end up with Vincennes at home, but that will really make this SIAC conference championship, if Jasper can continue this, just that much more impressive.
Well, that tougher part of the schedule is definitely coming up. Again, Rice was a big game last week, and the Wildcats dominated them for the most part, especially in the second half, winning that game. Tonight was not a ball game at all. The Wildcats just getting things done, and nobody looks like no injuries or anything, so that was a key thing there. And Mater Dei, a little bit tougher opponent than what we seen obviously this week, and so again, that's a home game for the Wildcats. But then you get that stretch of Central, at Castle, and at Evansville North. So it's not going to get any easier for the Wildcats. They're going to still have to prove themselves when we get to that stretch there.
Well, I don't think that with the senior, focused team, I don't think the coaches are going to have to do too much as far as getting them prepared. They do have the gauntlet up, but don't look too forward, too much down the road at that, because Mater Dei will come in, and Mater Dei is capable of sneaking out, a victory. They are 2A, we're 4A, but they're a Catholic school.
Right.
And, well, even back in our day, Memorial, Mater Dei, they've had people that, well, let's just say they didn't live in Evansville that were on their squads.
Yeah.
So, but Gable being a good coach, it will be a good game. And, happy for every one of those Wildcats that got out there on the gridiron tonight.
Absolutely. So just a final look at the numbers. The Wildcats 42 offensive plays, 366 total yards against Evansville Bosse, 42 plays and just 64 yards. The Wildcat defense doing the job, especially with the reserves that got a chance to play tonight. And just some of the numbers I want to point out there. Joey McGimsey with 8 carries for 31 yards in his backup duty, and Grant Young. So really the top 3 rushers were all quarterbacks. Blake Mann 86 yards, Grant Young 62, McGimsey 31. So, and then Victor Peter with 5 carries for 22 yards. So the Wildcats dominate tonight and win to improve to 4-0 with a 45-0 win over the Evansville Bosse Bulldogs. So for Bob Welp and Jeremy Markos on the video, this is Craig Schneider. Thanks for watching Wildcat football here on 18 WJTS. Good night.
This has been an 18 WJTS presentation of Jasper Wildcat football.